99.9. Thanks for tuning in, both on air and as well online. And we always try to preface these interviews by letting you know that you can watch it and you can listen to it, not only on the WMOM Facebook page and our Hot Country Hits Facebook page, but as well our YouTube channel. Just search for WMOM and you'll find us. And of course, over your smart devices like your Amazon Alexa and your Google Home and the West Michigan Radio app, and of course over the broadcast side of things over the radio stations. Erin, good morning to you.
Good morning, Chris.
Thanks for connecting, and love your office. We get a chance to look behind the scenes there. I think for the last few segments you've been traveling, so it's been where is Erin today? But you are back at home now.
I am at home in the office and just enjoying the weather.
Yeah. Well, we're looking at the 40s today, and
All
possibly
right, here we
sunshine.
go.
Yeah. No, I think it's
Wait
good.
5 minutes in Michigan, it'll change.
That is true. That is absolutely true. Well, we're looking forward to the first day of spring, and this same transition is also tax season. And so that's the topic that we're going to be talking about today with you in regards to the financial side, as you have expanded that for, you said 2013, is that right?
No, actually 2003. So
Oh, even
what
longer.
State Farm's philosophy in this space is they really nationally advertise the brand, right?
Yeah.
With Jake, State
Hmm.
Farm, just to let people know. And then locally, they want their 19,000 agents, which I'm one of them, to just let them know the services that they provide and find out the concerns and needs of people in your community and in your book of business.
Yeah, and this morning, it's going to be a important topic, especially when it comes to tax season and how you can get ahead, not fall behind. How we can set ourselves up for potential failure in some cases as well, and we don't want to do that. So let's kind of go over some good advice that you are giving to your customers as they walk through the door, as as they call you up on the phone, and we do want to disclaim this as well, that everybody is different, right? Every tax return is different. Everybody's situation is different too, right?
Yeah, it's very unique, and that's what I love about what we do at State Farm, and just being a needs-based organization that has 100 products and services in the insurance and financial world, is that it's not one size fits all, and but I do love that we can be a one-stop shop in terms of helping people with so many different of their insurance and financial needs. It's really good because then, so we get to know the person and where they're at, what their refund might look like, and kind of what their plans are. I think a lot of people get caught off guard a little bit and just, I'm on an auto quote, and
Mhm.
we're so much more. And we take that in stride, and we don't push our products and services, but we just try to ask really good questions to
Yeah.
get to the bottom of who they are and what's important to them.
Yeah, and that is going to be important because insurance and everything that goes along with it is important for everybody in so many aspects of life, and for their entire life. Same
Hmm.
thing on the financial side of it.
Hmm.
When people see their tax refunds come in, they sometimes see that as extra cash. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I think when you have extra cash, it's a great thing. It's nice to be able to, take a deep breath and go, okay, what are we doing with this? And I think that that's where, you should take that deep breath and go, okay, let's think about this a minute, and
Mhm.
that's kind of really what I want this segment to be about is let's just take a pause. We got this cash that just came in. It is a great thing. Now what are we doing with that? And there, you may have already predetermined what you want to do with it, but perhaps in this session,
Mhm.
of us talking and people hearing this and listening, is that
Mhm.
they would go, okay, you know what? We probably should rethink this a little bit.
Yeah. Do you find that there's a strategy when it comes to, you get your refund? Is it paying off debt? Is it investing? Is it splurging? Where does it land?
I think for most people, I would say, you're not supposed to say most or all or never or always, But
Hmm.
for a big majority of our rural northern Michigan area, a, a good fair amount of that is catching up on bills
Okay.
and paying down some debt, which 100% we agree with. And I would say that, just being fair to the community and the listening audience in general is that's life. And
Hmm.
it is a great thing to get this money. And sometimes, depending on pay raises and taxes that changes for your situation, you may get a little bit more than you were expecting, which then it then causes you to go beyond the paying the bills or reducing some of the debt. And that's really what we want to hit on today.
It's sort of the lottery effect, right? When
It
people
is.
win the lottery, it can disappear very quickly.
You can. Yeah, you can go to the store or a few stores and you're like, oh my gosh, we just spent $600 or $800. And, granted, some of the needs, real world needs for everyday people, we had to catch up. We really couldn't do the Christmas we wanted to do, and so again, we realized that, locally, the service providers in our community and my agency, that are here in Mason County, Oceana Lake, and Manistee County listening is, we understand. I mean, we're real people that live here. And we're,
Mhm.
we're just wanting to build that rapport and relationship with you to, maybe consider a few other things along the way when you get this money.
Yeah. Paying off debt, you mentioned that a moment ago. We have debt that has low interest rates and high interest rates. Take us through that part of it. I would assume the higher, the more you want to pay that off. Don't prolong that.
Yeah, I've recently come across where, instead of a 22% interest on a credit card, I've seen as high as 28% recently.
Yeah.
And that really did catch me off guard. And I think that's tough in our country right now, in our society, with the average consumer being over $10,000 in credit card debt, per family. And that's hard on Americans. And so I'm not a politician, but I will say there's some things in terms of that card that you want to see if you can pay it off. Now,
Mhm.
there are sometimes solution where you can get all your credit card debts put on a single payoff card. There
Mhm.
are cards like that where you can consolidate it on one card and not have to pay interest. So
Mhm.
we have a partner with State Farm nationally that helps us provide a card that can do 18 months of 0% interest.
Oh well,
And so
yeah.
that is
Good.
a big, big, powerful thing to go along and look at your strategy with paying off some of this debt with your tax refund, because that's really what we're talking about today. But there's other tools or solutions that can help your dollar go further,
Mm.
right? So it could be this aspect of we're going to use part of this tax refund to pay this credit card off, but we're also going to use this solution to consolidate actually a couple of cards, two or three cards into this one, and then have 18 months to really get this thing down.
Do you see that it has been a benefit for your customers, your clients there, or even heard some good stories from other agents in the business?
Yeah, I think for me in general, I was working with the customer and we were kind of just having a, conversation about who they were as a family and and going through their personal get to know you a little bit more. And then we got into the money conversation and really the conversation quickly went to the debt, and we were able to provide that credit card that did consolidate in their situation. It was about $40,000 of credit card debt.
Mm-hmm.
It was a significant situation and a couple $1,000s a month they were paying, but that really wasn't taking their balance down. So this was it crosses over income stratas. This was a higher income household in this situation, and but they even with that they had significantly more than the average credit card debt, and that's really going to make a difference for them to get after with 0% interest
Yeah, I
for
was just
the
gonna say
next
that.
18 months.
Yeah, that zero
So
percent
I
interest.
personally helped somebody with that myself in my
Uh,
office.
as an insurance agent, you don't want those that get those tax returns to skip the insurance side of things. And you can do a lot when you have that little extra income to kind of refine things when it comes to the insurance side. Take us through that.
Yeah, that we have found recently, Chris, as we're going into a new billing system here this next month, that we have about 100 customers or 100 households that are consistently in a non-pay situation,
Mm,
meaning they're about to lapse their insurance or in the process of lapsing. And so in this space, there's a lot of our customers that the tax refund, a part of it could be to get them caught up. Sometimes it's even the situation where they have Social Security and they're waiting to get that at the beginning of the month.
mhm.
And it sounds, I mean, I know I'm getting into the weeds here, but
No,
their
no.
payment might be the last couple of days of the prior month. And
Hmm.
in order to change the date, they've really got to pay 2 months.
Mm,
So what that means for the listeners trying to keep up with us on this topic is they never can quite get there because they're paycheck to paycheck. But your
mhm.
tax refund, if you're kind of in this such a tight, dollar for dollar, relying on all of your income every paycheck, this is where it can make a huge difference in getting caught up, changing your due date to the 5th of the month, the following month, and not, and then having that double payment that one time. But from that point forward, you're never late,
Yeah.
which is super powerful, and you can use your tax refund to help in that space.
Well, that's part of what we're talking about today as well. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance. Oh, we flipped to the side there. Your phone there might have to flip your phone a little bit the other way, Erin. Oh, let's see if we can get you to do that. We'll see if we can see if we can do that. Erin, go ahead and turn your phone just a little bit. It rotated to the right there. I'll uh, I'll take you off screen for just a second, and then we'll bring Aaron back in once he flips the phone there. He can still hear us and that. So you just have to rotate your phone, Aaron, and I think you'll get there. We're talking with Aaron Doan from Aaron Doan State Farm Insurance this morning, and a part of that, oh yeah, he'll be on back on in just a second. Part of that is the adjustment side of things, being able to um, adjust where you are at in regards to your the amount of tax as well. And once Aaron jumps back on, oh, there he is. We'll bring him back in right now, and we'll swap screens and put you right there. There you go. The it's the we were talking before we went on about the behind the scenes, and sometimes through a segment we can have some challenges. But hey, I'm glad you're back on with us. We were talking in the segment about adjustments and if somebody gets a large tax return, in most cases, we're looking at it as, oh, yeah, this is great. But that could also mean that we're not doing something throughout the year that could actually benefit us when it comes to our taxes.
Yeah, I think there's an element of just perhaps when you're thinking about your tax refund and you're maybe sitting down at dinner and going, okay, this is coming, and it could be a conversation that you're having soon, or you haven't spent the money yet that you got the tax refund already. You might want to consider breaking it up in thirds, if
Okay.
that's possible. So what that means is perhaps a third of it's paying, past due bills or debt. A third of it could be for creating some emergency savings. And perhaps a third of it is for looking for coverage or investing in the future. So sometimes what I've found is people know they need, for instance, life insurance, and it's $400 a year, and they rather not put that on their monthly bill with their auto and home. Well, in that situation, with a tax refund, of perhaps 1,200 or 1,600, you could put the $400 and pay that annually, and hoping that you get a tax refund each year. That $400 bill comes, you're like, oh my gosh, we got this 400. Oh, that's right, we're getting a tax refund.
Mhm.
So I think if you can break it into thirds or quarters, so you got paying off, bills and debt, you're looking at, putting some emergency savings I would highly regard or recommend $1,000 minimally for emergency savings, then get to, which sounds crazy, I know to some, get to 3 months of emergency savings. That's a very powerful thing for a lot of our listeners to have that.
Yep.
And then getting into maybe there's something in protection we need to consider.
Mhm.
Maybe there is, um,
Whoop, we had you flip again. Sorry about that. We'll see if we can get them to flip back the other way, Aaron. We'll put you in the sideline. And if you just rotate your phone, I know it's on an angle there, so it might be you might have to disconnect and then reconnect one more time there. And that's what he's doing on his end. So we apologize about that, but we want to make sure that we finish his thought process in regards to having that emergency fund for that 3 months. That's going to be important too. And we'll bring Aaron back on here in just a second. It's pretty easy for him to reconnect, so I'll get that split screen back in. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Erin Doan from Erin Doan State Farm Insurance this morning here on 102.7 Mom FM and Hot Country Hits 99.9. And we'll also put a link to this topic up on our Facebook page as well, because I think that'll be important. And welcome back. It's nice. We can actually see your deer this time in the background too. So your deer head there. Let's talk about as we focus on the insurance side. So somebody gets their tax return. There's opportunities and to enhance their insurance or at least look at increasing their coverage, because sometimes when clients come in, when your customers come in, they are looking at sometimes just the bare minimum, but there's opportunities to protect themselves even more.
Yeah, I think that can go along with any type of insurance, auto, home, renters, life, or even disability insurance. Some of these insurances too, you can, where the people go like, I know I really need to increase my coverage because to rebuild my home is going to be a lot more expensive. And, I don't think anymore that, yes, you have it covered for replacement cost based on that value, but I've actually recently heard that, and I'm talking as a consumer, right? Speaking to us, that
Mhm.
hey, it's $300 to $400 plus to rebuild in our area per square foot. And I think that's an element that you could, with your tax refund, say, hey, let's get this to the right number this year, and
Mhm.
let's go ahead and bump that. And people sometimes wonder, well, what does that do to my mortgage and things of that nature? You can sometimes come in and pay for that difference and get the premium put toward the difference in that coverage this year and not have it hit your escrow account through your mortgage if you actually pay your mortgage, insurance, and taxes all through escrow. So there's a way to do that and not have that increase your mortgage payment. And so that's a great example. And again, sometimes these other coverages that are super important to make sure you stay in your home, that it's not related directly to your mortgage, but it's if you can't work and you have some gaps in your group disability or life insurance at work, there may not be enough to pay the mortgage off, for example. So using your tax refund can go a long way to looking.
Oh, we spun again. What I'll do is we'll let you reconnect one more time here, and we'll get them back on, and then we'll wrap up for today. There we go. Just we'll see if we can get them to connect. Sometimes the angle of the phone when we have guests on might do an auto rotation of the video. So we'll try to get Aaron back on here in just a matter of moments. There we go. There we go. Okay, there you are.
We have some
And,
technical difficulties today,
yeah,
Chris, and I'm not sure
no,
where
it's
they're
okay.
coming from. We'll get to the
Yeah,
bottom of it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of it is just our phones auto rotate, and so if we have it at an set it up on an angle, it might think that we want it to be horizontal rather than vertical in that particular case. But
Hmm.
you were or we were talking about taking the insurance and for the mortgage side of it, but also taking that tax return and thinking even longer, life insurance and all of that. That could be crucial. And sometimes we think in the moment rather than think the long term side of things.
Yeah, I think that's the element that in this moment where you have this extra money that you don't normally have on a day-to-day basis is you can put it toward some protection. But one of the most recent that we're using nationally in terms is
Well, we
protect then invest. So
okay,
having the protection and then investing the difference. And so long term, having that a bit.
and we're gonna keep you on. There you go, Aaron. Continue your thought.
Chris, I'm
Oh,
having some
continue.
continued difficulty. I think
Oh,
we're probably going to have
yeah,
to wrap it up.
yeah.
I've got Elvin the chipmunk in your voice, so
Oh, it's okay. Let's do this. We've covered a lot over this segment, and so what we'll do is we'll connect with you coming up in a couple of weeks. But I'd like to take this information that State Farm has and put it as a link in the comments section on the video. So we'll do that, and then you know what? If you have questions from customers or your clients, we'll bring that up in a future conversation. All right. It is Mom FM and Hot Country Hits. Thanks, Aaron, and we appreciate you. And we'll talk with you. We'll talk with you soon. Sometimes there can be some technical difficulties.